If you've ever tried to roll beads on sheet metal by hand, you know it's one of those tasks that looks simple until you actually do it. I've seen too many people buy a bead roller online, set it up, and realize it doesn't quite match the kind of work they're trying to do. The listing makes it look like a plug-and-play tool, but in real life, the wrong bead roller can waste your time, your metal, and your patience. If you're thinking about getting into metal fabrication or expanding your shop, you want something that actually fits the job, not just the picture. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. This Eastwood Motorized Bead Roller is built for people who mean business. It's not a weekend hobby tool. It's for fabricators, restorers, or anyone who regularly works with sheet metal and needs consistent, repeatable beads without wearing themselves out. The 36-inch width gives you real coverage, so you're not limited to small patches or awkward overlaps. And the motorized drive with foot pedal control means you can keep both hands on the metal while you feed it through. That might not sound like a big deal until you've tried holding a piece steady while cranking a manual handle. Your arms get tired fast, and the bead ends up uneven. With this, the motion is smooth and controlled, and you can focus on guiding the material instead of fighting the tool. One thing that stood out right away is how Eastwood designed this for real shop use. The stand is heavy-duty, not flimsy like some budget models I've seen. It doesn't wobble when you're pushing thicker material, and the motor has enough torque to handle aluminum and mild steel without bogging down. I ran a 22-gauge sheet through it yesterday just to test, and the bead came out clean with no dimpling or tearing. That's important if you're working on projects like fenders, hoods, or custom panels where appearance matters. The bead profile is consistent, and you don't get that uneven ripple you sometimes see with underpowered rollers. Now, let's talk about who this is not for. If you're only doing occasional small projects like a one-off patch panel or a simple repair, this might be overkill. A manual bead roller or even a basic hand tool could get the job done without tying up space in your shop. This Eastwood unit is for someone who's building or restoring regularly and needs speed and precision. It's also not a tool you'll use every day, so if you're tight on space, consider whether you'll actually make room for it long term. It's big, it's heavy, and it's not something you'll store in a drawer. There's one trade-off I want to mention up front: setup and adjustment. Unlike a simple hand tool, this bead roller requires you to dial in the pressure and alignment before you start rolling. If the rollers aren't set correctly, you can end up with a bead that's too shallow or, worse, starts to deform the metal. Eastwood includes clear instructions, but it still takes a little practice to get it right. I spent about 15 minutes adjusting the pressure and testing on scrap before I felt confident running a full panel. If you're not used to working with metal fabrication tools, expect a learning curve. Another thing to keep in mind is noise and dust. The motor isn't loud, but it's not whisper quiet either. If you're working in a shared space or a garage near living areas, you might want to plan around that. And since you're working sheet metal, there's going to be some metal shavings and dust flying. Eastwood includes a small brush for cleanup, but you'll still want to wear eye protection and maybe a mask if you're sensitive to fine particles. Where this tool really shines is in repeatability. Once you get the settings dialed in, you can roll the same bead pattern over and over with consistent results. That's huge if you're restoring a classic car and need matching panels, or if you're fabricating custom parts for a project. The foot pedal gives you fine control over speed, so you can slow down for tight curves or speed up for long straight runs. And because it's motorized, you're not limited by your own strength. You can roll thicker material without fatigue. I also like that Eastwood includes a stand. Some bead rollers come as just the tool, and you're left figuring out how to mount it. This one comes with a solid base, so you can set it on a workbench or a dedicated stand without extra hassle. The stand is welded, not bolted, so it's stable under load. That might seem minor, but if you've ever had a tool shift mid-project, you know how frustrating it is. So, should you buy this? If you're serious about metal fabrication and need a reliable, repeatable way to roll beads on larger sheets, this is a solid choice. It's built to last,